This is a story about Tina, a 14-year-old girl from a seemingly perfect middle-class family. Tina has had a great relationship with her hard-working father, but her mother is known for being strict and uncompromising. However, Tina has a secret that no one knows. She's been stealing for years. Her friends see them as a perfect family, but Tina's been struggling with her guilt and unhappiness for a long time. A few years ago, Tina stole candy bars and sweets from a convenience store. Later, she ended up stealing phones from an electronics store, and then jewellery, also ladies' handbags and men's wallets. She was never caught. Despite feeling guilty, Tina continued to steal, but she was so unhappy carrying an even bigger secret. One day she woke up knowing that today was the day where she was going to a high-end store to steal an expensive dress. Once in the store, Tina walks nervously around the eyed rack of clothes. She knows what she's about to do is wrong, but she needs to go through with it. She picks up two beautiful, expensive dresses and heads to the changing room. She can feel the fabric hugging her body in all the right places as she slips the dress on. It's a perfect sizing. With shaking hands, she slips the dress into her bag. She can feel her stomach tuning with guilt and fear. She tries to act confident and puts the other dress on the clothes rack as she makes her way outside the door. Suddenly, she hears a customer calling out to the shopkeeper. "Excuse me, that girl just took the dress and she didn't pay for it. She went into the changing room with two dresses while you were busy with the customer, and she's only put one back." Tina freezes, her heart racing. She can feel the blood draining from her face as the shopkeeper turns to look at her. "Miss, I'm going to have to ask you to come with me." Tina knows she's been caught. She can feel her tears welling up in her eyes as she follows the shopkeeper to the back of the store where the changing rooms are. There are no signs of the dress, so the shopkeeper goes through Tina's bag, pulling out the stolen dress. Tina can feel the shame washing over her. "Why did you take this? Don't you know it's wrong to steal?" Tina can't find the words to answer. She just shakes her head, feeling sick to her stomach. "I'm going to have to call the police. You know that, right?" Tina nods, feeling like her whole world is crashing down around her. She knows what's coming next, the shame of being caught and her family's disappointment. Tina's heart was pounding as she walked through the store, flanked by two stern police officers. She knew she was in big trouble, and the thought of facing parents made her feel sick to her stomach. Hours later, Tina sat in the cramped room in the police station, her hands trembling with fear. Her parents arrived, and she could hear the raised voices of the officers as they spoke to them. She knew her parents were angry and disappointed, and the thought of facing them filled her with dread. "I can't believe you would do anything like this, Tina." Her father's voice was filled with anger. "We taught you better than this. You've let us down, and you've let yourself down. What were you thinking?" Tina's mother didn't say much, but the disappointment in her eyes was clear. "We trusted you to make the right choices, and you've ruined everything," she said, her voice choked with emotion. Days later, Tina was sentenced to 3 months of community work and counselling. She felt devastated. She's never been in trouble with the law before, and now she had a criminal record. The first day of community work was brutal. Tina had to clean up a park, remove graffiti, and it was hot and dirty work. The graffiti on the walls made her even feel worse, reminding her of the damage she had caused. The guilt weighed heavily on her, and the counselling sessions were emotionally draining. As weeks went by, Tina's situation only worsened. She had to sacrifice her weekends and after-school activities to complete her community work, and her friends had started to distance themselves from her. She was teased and bullied at school. She felt isolated and alone, and the weight of her mistakes seemed almost unbearable. But she decided at her next counselling sessions that she will reveal her secret. Tina's heart raced as she sat in her counsellor's office, her hands shaking as she clutched a tissue. Through tears, she finally revealed her secret. For as long as she could remember, her mother had forced her to steal. It started innocently enough with sweets, but soon her mother had her stealing food, phones, jewelry, and even ladies' bags and men's wallets. She gave everything she stole to her mother, who warned her never to get caught, and if she ever did, she would deny everything. The counsellor was horrified and urged Tina to confront her mother again, but let her know that you will be telling your father and the police. After weeks of building up the courage, Tina finally did. One evening when she was home alone before her father arrived, she confronted her mother, asking why she had made her steal. But her mother's response was cold and heartless as usual. "Not this again," her mother said with a sneer. "You sound like a broken record. What's done is done, and you've already been punished. I won't make you do it again, but you were stupid to get caught. You ruined everything." Tina's tears flowed freely as she begged her mother to listen. "I've already told my counsellor," she said. "She said I need to tell everyone." "You better not," her mother said, her voice low and threatening. "I'm going to deny everything. Your life will not be worth living if they find out." Tina's heart sank as she realised that her mother would never take the responsibilities for her actions. She felt trapped and alone, wondering if anyone would ever believe her side of the story. Little did she know that her father had arrived home early and was standing outside the bedroom door listening in horror. He felt like he had failed as a father, that he had let down his precious daughter when he needed him the most. The pain and hurt he felt was overwhelming, and he knew he had to confront his wife about what he had just heard. With a heavy heart and trembling voice, he entered the room where Tina and her mother sat, his eyes filled with tears. "How could you do this to our daughter?" he asked, his voice choked with emotion. Tina's mother looked down, unable to meet his gaze, knowing that she had let down her family. "Well, we needed the money," she whispered, and I didn't know what else to do." Tina's father was in shock. "So you made our daughter steal for you?" he exclaimed, his voice filled with anger and pain. "How could you be so selfish?" Tina's mother tried to defend herself, but her words fell on deaf ears. I didn't have a choice," she said. "We were struggling, and I didn't want to burden you." Tina's father was hurt and angry. "You should have talked to me," he said. "We could have found a way to get through this together. Instead, you made our daughter carry the weight of your mistakes." Tina was sobbing, feeling like she was to blame for everything that had happened. But her father's comforting hand on her shoulder gave her a glimmer of hope. "It's not your fault, Tina," he said. "We're going to get through this together." Tina felt a flood of relief wash over her. Finally, she had someone who would stand by her side and support her through this difficult time. She hugged her father tightly, grateful to have him there for her. At that moment, Tina's father made a promise to his daughter that he would never let her down again. He would always be there for her no matter what, and together they would overcome any obstacle that came their way. He waited until his wife and daughter went to bed before confronting his wife about it again. "Why would you get Tina to steal for all these years? I was making good enough money to pay the bills," he asked her. His wife tried to stick to her story about the bills needing to be paid, but eventually she broke down and confessed everything. She told him about her gambling habit and how she had gotten in over her head. "I didn't know what else to do," she sobbed. "I thought if we could just sell the things Tina stole, I could pay off our debts. The money you gave me for the bills I used for gambling, and what Tina stole I tried to pay the bills with that. It was a vicious cycle." Tina's father was shocked and angry. He couldn't believe that his wife had put her daughter in danger like that. "We're lucky she's only got community service," he told his wife. "If she had been caught before, she would be in jail right now." Tina's father knew that they had a lot of work to do to repair the damage that had been done. He made his wife promise to stop gambling and never to make Tina steal again. He also made a promise to Tina that he would do everything he could to make things right. Over the next couple of months, Tina's parents worked hard to pay off their debts and repair their relationship with their daughter. Tina started opening up to her father more and more, and he was grateful for the opportunity to be there for her. He knew that they still had a long road ahead of them, but he was determined to do whatever it took to make things right. As for Tina's mother, she continued to struggle with the gambling addiction, but she was taking steps to get help. It was a long and difficult process, but she knew that she had to do it, not just for herself, but for her family. And this was letting the police know, and all her friends and family, including Tina's friends. And so the family began to heal and move forward one step at a time. It was a difficult journey, but they knew they could make it through if they stuck together and faced their problems head on. If you enjoyed the story, then I know you will really enjoy the video on the end screen. It's about a mother paying for her daughter's friends not to go to her daughter's birthday party. It's really a great story. Also, don't forget to subscribe and press the like button. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.